Well, NXT is getting closer and closer to Takeover, Stand and Deliver. AEW are now building up to new stories and new matches that we witnessed this past Wednesday. So, which show was better for this Wednesday Night War? So, we'll review, discuss, and talk about it on this episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, matches, wrestlers, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So let's begin with the views and ratings. AEW this week had a dip in their viewership, but however, they still continue to win this week. The ratings for the 18 to 49 demographic went well. So they received 757,000 views for this week. Last week was 768,000. So basically, that's the viewership that took place. But however, the 18 to 49 demographic is a little different situation than you thought. They received a 0.30 compare from last week, which is a 0.28. Now, you ask yourselves now this question: how is that possible that AEW's viewership went down, but the 18 to 49 demographic went up? Well, sometimes you got to remember, that's how it works. The 18 to 49 rating demographic is the most important thing. People are saying that this is not important, it's the viewership. But let's look at NXT so far. As you know, NXT got 678,000 views. Compare with from last week, which was 597, which they did pretty good this week. As you know, they're building up the stories leading up to NXT Takeover, Stand and Deliver. Now, the 18 to 49 demographic is another story, which is they received a 0.14 compared from last week, which was a 0.13. So they did pretty well, but however, as you know, we're getting closer and closer where NXT will move their Wednesday night slot all the way to Tuesday. So this is pretty much what took place for the views and ratings. But let's move on talking about AEW Dynamite. All right, so AEW Dynamite just took place. Their opening match was, in fact, the AEW World Title Eliminator, as you know, um, on AEW Revelation. Matt Sydal was in a match against Michael Nakazawa. He won the match, but however, Kenny decided to play by his own rules, decided to jump right ahead with of course, the match that he promised. Tony Khan stepped up, gave him 9 days, and that day already happened. I have to say, some of you put to say, why couldn't this be the main event? Well, it would have been, but it didn't. But I have to say, it was a really good match between Kenny Omega and Matt Sydal. However, he had his manager slash visible hand, you know, Don Callis in the commentary section. Now, this was a really good match between both Kenny and Matt Sydal. You would have assumed that Matt Sydal, who could have won and had an opportunity, but it didn't happen that way. The problem is, we got to remember, Kenny also has to put his title on the line in Impact for Rebellion later on in April. But that's how it's going to take place. He won the match with none other than his finisher, the One Wing Angel. Now, as you know, it was later revealed for the main event, it was for the TNT Championship between Dark Order members John Silver and the current champion Darby Allin. Now, Silver, he's very pumped and very excited to do this. As soon as everybody left, Hangman gave him a little pep talk saying that even if he didn't win but does a good job, that he'll always be proud of him, which is very encouraging. Hangman may not be a member of the Dark Order, but he at least has friends that he can count on. But speaking of Hangman, he went up to the ring to face against Caesar Bononi. Now, this was a very good challenge for him because Caesar Bononi is a much bigger competitor than Hangman. You would have assumed that Hangman would have won. But the real question, could he pull off the buckshot lariat to win the match? He actually did. He pulled it off and picked up a nice victory. But of course, there was a very interesting commentary section that took place in this match. What if Hangman bumps into Kenny one day to fight for the AEW World Title? Now, that is going to be a very interesting match to see. I'm kind of curious when would that happen, but only time will tell. Now, as you know, on two occasions, Lance Archer decided to bump in the time of Sting. It appears that Lance Archer said that he wants his time, even if that means threatening Sting. I don't know what he would say, but the obvious question is, are we going to see a match between Sting and Lance Archer? I don't know. But if it does, I'm rather curious to see how this was going to play out. Now, as you know, the last week we had an amazing an unsanctioned lights out match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa. Once again, Britt Baker saying that people are still talking about her, calling these legends that all this and that. And of course, she said it took Mick Foley, 20 years to get where he got. He's back to the same old attitude that we all know. But there was several people saying she should go after the AEW Women's World Title. But the real question, when will that happen? Because we are getting into a very interesting segment with the whole thing. I'll get to that in a little bit. Now, as you know, we've been seeing Christian showing up. He was in the back giving a little pep talk to the Varsity Blondes, Pillman, Garrison, and of course their partner of the night, Dante Martin. Dasha wanted an interview to find out what his real intentions is, and all of a sudden, here comes Frank Kazarian, someone he's familiarized from another company back in the past. If you guys don't know this, Frank Kazarian and Christian have bumped into each other before with TNA, now currently called Impact. So he wanted the real question, when he's going to start doing the work. So Christian replied next week, and he put him as his opponent. This is going to be interesting how we're going to see. As you know, we haven't seen him wrestle completely in 7 years, but I'm kind of curious how is he going to be. I know there's going to be a lot of questions to this, but all we got to do is not talk about it now, but we can actually view what's going to happen next week. So let's do that. Where am I now? Now, as you know, the Pinnacle is now becoming a force to be reckoned with when they decimated the inner circle. FTR and Shawn Spears were teamed up to face against the Varsity Blondes and Dante Martin. It seems like a really interesting match, but however, in this one, you expect it to be in this direction where the Pinnacle are now becoming the most dominant faction, which they won. However, they gave out a very interesting promo calling out Jericho and the rest of the inner circle, thinking that, oh, they're going to show up. But as you know, in story-wise, they're hurt. They cannot show up. Even Tony Schiavone decided to question their attitude, but when it comes to question it, they don't like that. So he was forced to shut up. So that's what took place. Now, as you know what happened last week with Team Taz, Brian Cage, the FTW champion, decided to give his respects to Sting's. But however, Taz goes out saying that there's no problems right now with, Team Taz. But however, I doubt it because apparently Taz goes out tell everybody, going from Ricky Starks, Powerhouse, and Hoobs, they're saying when they're good. And then Cage says, who better? Now, to me, I don't know if that's like an honest answer. You got to ask yourself this obvious question. Brian Cage did state it last week that he wants to start speaking for himself. Could this be a sign that Cage could walk out of Team Taz? I don't know. But only time will tell when we get there. Hopefully. Now, as you know, in recent weeks, all the way from Revolution, QT Marshall developed this type of attitude. What happened after Revolution? He left Lee Johnston in dust, all this and that. He's been getting a little frustration. He kind of gave his explanation saying that people always call him as Cody Rhodes' friends. But Cody decided to talk to him, saying he'll give him some full accommodations and all this. But however, he did say, let's have an exhibition match. And he picked Arn Anderson as the referee, which QT was fine with it. But could we see the beginning where QT decides to betray the Nightmare family and he goes on his own? I don't know. But we'll see what happens next week in that exhibition match that's going to take place. Now we get to a match that's already been set. We have Lucha Brothers once again teaming with Laredo Kid, who we haven't seen since Fighter Fest 2019. Pac was unable to be there due to injuries, but he will be back soon. They're facing off against the Young Bucks and, of course, Brandon Cutler. It was a very interesting match to watch because there was a lot of spots that were very good to watch. But however, it was Laredo Kid who picked up the victory by pinning Brandon Cutler. But it did not end there. Kenny shows up and attacks Laredo Kid with the belt. He was questioning the Bucks. Did you guys forget about 2 years ago? Did you forget? He tells them, why did you pick Brandon Cutler over me? As you know, the Bucks are having a hard time trying to get to Kenny to tell him they can't stand Don Callis. Now, he stated that Don Callis, he may not agree with what he says, but he needs him. But that's not what the Bucks want. But he did say something to them. He didn't choose AEW 3 years ago. He chosen the Bucks. So he said this was planned long time ago. So basically everything that they believed in. He even tried to pull off the two sweets. But however, the Bucks did not budge. They walked out. They left with Brandon Cutler. But however, because he attacked Laredo Kid, the Lucha Brothers gave them a bunch of super kicks right in their face. And they took off. But once again, where the hell were the Good Brothers? The Doc Gallows just went off to take another leak like last time when he tried to save the Bucks? I don't know. But I can guarantee you, this thing between Kenny and the Lucha Brothers and Laredo Kid is far from over. Now, Jade Cargill, as you know, she is becoming a force to be reckoned with. We know she had 2 impressive matches last week. Apparently, she sent out a message to Red Velvet that she does not like getting in her business, that they're both undefeated as singles competitors. So, we'll see what happens. But I want to pause here about what happened in Dynamite. It's been revealed today. I just found out. Red Velvet is now officially All Elite. So that means she is now part of the roster. I know some of you will say, she will not be a minute back, but it doesn't matter because I've been impressed by her recently with how she's becoming this interesting individual, being all fiery and all of that. That's what I like about her. But I can't wait to see if this feud between Jade and Red Velvet could come to life. So we'll wait and see in the upcoming weeks. Hopefully all the way to Double or Nothing. Now, it was later revealed that Cody and his wife Brandy are having a reality TV show called Roads to the Top. This is something that we already seen with WWE, with Total Divas, Total Bellas. But however, I don't know how I would feel about it. But to me, I would rather see how this goes out, because it's kind of interesting. So when this comes out, I'll try to do a review what I think of it. Now, as you know, Kingston had a busted ankle, all thanks to the Good Brothers and Kenny. But however, Moxley does have opinions about what's been going on with Kenny and the Bucks. Now he commends them for not signing with Kenny, but however, he still doesn't like them. But it appears that maybe this feud between Moxley and Kingston is very, very not over yet. Now we jump into a very amazing women's match. We have Nyla Rose with Vicky Guerrero taking on Tay Conti. As you know, this is a rematch of the loss that Tay Conti took at the women's eliminator match about a month ago or so, or earlier this month. Don't remember when, but I have to say it was a pretty good match. I have to say that Tay put up a hell of a match, showing what she can do. And of course, she had the support of the Dark Order since Anna Jay is not there. But I have to say, she really impressed me. I mean, it's a shame that she didn't get that with WWE when she was with NXT, but I feel AEW are giving her exactly what she needed. And she picked up a hell of a victory on this one. But however, post-match, Nyla Rose could not accept the loss, so she attacks her. And here comes Hikaru Shida with the candlestick whacking her. Now, some of you are saying, why did she decide to help her? She's not after the world title. Actually, Nyla Rose hasn't forgotten. She wants another shot of the title, but the real question is, when will that happen? But all of a sudden, here comes the bunny attacking Shida. Now, what does she has to do with this? Well, nothing. But apparently, Matt Hardy comes out with Private Party and the Butcher and the Blade to give his peace of mind. He goes out saying that it was a sham with the women's eliminator tournament, that the bunny wasn't there. I mean, it's true. Bunny wasn't there. He thinks that she should have been involved, and that he wants to file a formal complaint that the question, why wasn't the bunny involved in this eliminator? Well, all we can do is wait and see what happens. But I think we will see a tag team match between all four of these women. I'm assuming Shida and Tay Conti will team up to take on Nyla and the Bunny. So we'll see where we're going to go with that. Now, once again, Scorpio Sky turning heel, saying that he's tired of playing by the rules, that he is now going to go great lengths to get what he wants. Because he felt that he was robbed, overlooked, you name it. But that's what he feels. Now let's jump into the main event, which is the TNA Championship. We got John Silver of the Dark Order. Of course, the Dark Order shows up, but they decide to stick around because right across from them is in fact Matt Hardy and company. As you know, Hardy has a grudge against the Dark Order for involving themselves in the match between him and Hangman. And then here comes Darby Allin. Sting did say he was going to be behind. But I have to say, throughout the match was really good. I have to say, and even though Darby Allin paid tribute to one of the greatest TNT champions of all time, we're talking about the late Brody Lee. But I did like how Sting comes up, gave the Dark Order, like, you better not get in here. And they're scared of him, which is amazingly. But there were moments that you feel like, oh my God, they could hurt themselves completely. But the match was great with, I couldn't believe how Darby Allin was able to pull up a victory. And it was amazing to see this. But at the same time, Sting wanted Darby to show respect that he put up a hell of a fight. But the real question now is, who is Darby Allin going to face for to defend the title. But it did not end there. Hardy and the rest of his company shows up and start attacking everybody, including the Dark Order. Here comes Tay Conti getting paid back on the bunny. And of course, this became a huge melee. So it was a pretty good show, I'm not going to lie. I mean, the Bucks walking away from Kenny and all that, but I'll explain more of that in my final thoughts. So let's move on with NXT. All right, NXT, as you know, they're building up with great stories that will lead them to a two-night event for NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. Now, there will be talk about how this is going to go out, as you know. The opening match was Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez taking on Zoe Clark and, of course, no, Zoe Starks and Io Shirai. Now, as you know, Io Shirai will face Raquel Gonzalez in NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. But I have to say, I was impressed how Zoe Starks put up some great spots in the match, even when she took out trying to face off Raquel Gonzalez, Dakota Kai. I'd say it was great. But however, you could not stop the matching power of Raquel Gonzalez. And of course, Raquel laid waste to Io Shirai in the commentary table. She believes that Io Shirai made a mistake in having her be her challenger. We'll just wait and see what happens. As you know, Io Shirai is always pushed to her limits. But will this limit be her downfall, or she will pull off another victory? We'll just wait and see till we get to Takeover, Stand and Deliver. Now, earlier in the week, Adam Cole showed up to the MMA gym where Kyle O'Reilly shows up. It appears that their problems continues to stir up, build up, heat up. But Regal did say there's going to be a little talk for their consequences for this thing that took place last week all the way to now. So that's going to be near the end, but we'll see where that's going to go. However, speaking of Kyle O'Reilly, he does come out. They wanted a statement about what's going to happen. Roderick Strong tried to play peacemaker, but Kyle O'Reilly said that whatever this is going on, this is between the two of them. And of course, Roderick Strong did state that both of them should go to hell, because right now it appears that Kyle O'Reilly is becoming more aware about everything. Like, what if Finn Balor was right? What if all this time was about Adam Cole, not about the entire Undisputed Era? But we'll get to that. The next match, we have Bronson Reed versus LA Knight. This took place a couple weeks ago. As you know, LA Knight was giving out a promo, but he was standing in the way when Bronson Reed was in the match against Cameron Grimes. He interfered, and then LA Knight decided to have his match against August Ray, and of course, Bronson Reed destroyed his favorite jacket. Now, you would have assumed in this type of match, like, LA Knight will have the upper hand, but to me, I was like, could not expect a whole lot. Now, you have to realize, LA Knight is a big time wrestler. We know him from previous companies, but Bronson Reed is becoming a very impressive wrestler to follow. Calling himself the Colossus, which I like. But I did not expect him to pick up a victory against LA Knight. But could this be like another? Could we see another feud between them, or this is just it? Don't know. But it was a good match, really good match. Now, as you know what happened last week, I kind of missed one because I was falling asleep. The NXT Tag Team titles are vacant. Danny Burch separated his shoulder. General Manager William Regal has no other choice but to vacate the titles. But however, I did state it, what is going to happen, but it looks like the answer has now been answered. The question to that has been answered. It appears the tag team titles will be crowned on night 1 of NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. So there's going to be a triple threat match for the tag team titles. We got MSK, the winners of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classics, taking on the grizzled young veterans who are determined to prove that they are the best tag team ever. And of course, Legado de Fantasmas, Joaquin Wilde, and Raul Mendoza, who are feeling that this is their time to make a statement. Now, this is a very interesting thing. So, we're going to see what's going to happen. So, we're going to have a triple threat storyline build up starting from here all the way to NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. Now, next match we had Karrion Kross along with Scarlett taking on Orny Lorcan. Orny was the one who requested this match to get revenge against Karrion Kross for what he did to Danny Burch, but not only that, costing them to drop the tag team titles due to the fact that Danny Burch is going to be out of action for months. But however, he couldn't even stop Karrion Kross, no matter how mad he can get. It ended bad. And of course, Kross put out a very interesting promo calling that he crossed the line for what he did, that there was casualties involved and all this. But however, Finn Balor had something else to say. He did stated that because of this, he said that you're going to lose your emotions. As you know, he did lose his emotions when he saw how Scarlett got hurt. So he gave him two options: either control your emotions, or if you don't control it, then you know what that's gonna be like. So Karrion Kross actually stayed his cool. So we'll see what's gonna happen. I think that's gonna be on night 2 of NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver, which I'm excited to see. Oh, excuse me. Now, we all know that the tag team titles, Cruiserweight title, the NXT title, and the women's title will be on the line. What about the North American title? That's one of the things that was never mentioned. But however, Regal found a solution. Starting next week, there's going to be a 12-man battle royal. Now, whoever are the last 6 individuals, the following week there's going to be a gauntlet match. Now, whoever wins, next week there's going to be in the following week, which is night 2 of the gauntlet match, whoever wins, I don't know, but anyway, whoever wins on night 1 of the gauntlet match, he's going to face Johnny Gargano in night 2. Now, there's already been statements from Kushida and Pete Dunne, but however, one man does not like what just transpired. We're talking about Johnny Gargano, pissed off, trying to confront him, saying that he needs time to prepare. But Regal told him, get familiarized with your opponents because you may never know who's going to be. Grimes is in it, Bronson Reed, Kushida, Pete Dunne. I can name a few, but get familiarized with it, man. I think he doesn't know what to do. I think that's really funny. Now, we got Drake Maverick versus Walter. Now, Drake has been trying to find out what happened to Killian Dane. As you know, Killian Dane bumped into the Wolf, Alexander Wolf. We don't know what really happened, so he wanted answers. He tried to confront Eichner Bartel, but Walter decided to get in his face, and this match was set up. But you can guess Walter decimated him. But however, it appears someone has something to say in front of Walter. He said that a long time ago he was intrigued by Walter, but however, it appears he has his eyes set on the NXT UK Championship. So he tells him to put that title on the line and stand and deliver in the next TakeOver event. Walter declined first, but of course, Tommaso will not take that as a direct no and take no for an answer. He attacked, he hit Walter, but of course, he got Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Eichner Bartel, giving the helping hand. So apparently, in the end, Walter accepted. He's not going to tolerate with Ciampa's behavior. but we'll see what's going to happen. Now, I don't know what happened, but I think I might have missed it. It appears Robert Stone went up to an old client or an old friend to turn to bring her back into the fold. I'm talking about Mercedes Martinez. So he asked her to join him to be part of the NXT Women's Tag Team Titles Championship match, which she accepted. Ooh, excuse me. So she accepted anyway. But that match was pretty good. I have to say, I hope this not doesn't turn out like what happened with Sasha and Bailey, with giving them about 30 days now. It was a pretty good match with Aaliyah and Mercedes Martinez taking on the champions Moon and Blackheart, but I did not expect them to win that good. I mean, the thing is this, I feel like Moon and Blackheart have become a very good, stable tag team. It's pretty amazing to see that, but can't wait to see what's going to happen. But however, while they were in the back happy that they won, here comes LeRae and Hartwell. It appears they want to be the next challengers, but however, they decided they're going to do things their way. So I'm not sure if this is going to be build up for Stand and Deliver or after. I mean, some of you probably say make it happen in NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver. I would agree with all of you, but I don't book the events for that, but they do it themselves. But hopefully we find out what's going to happen next week. If it does, we'll see. Now we get to a very interesting segment in the back. Cameron Grimes decides to talk with Roderick Strong, saying like, I don't know if he wants to reform. He wants to reform Undisputed Era, but I don't think Roderick Strong was interested, so he sucker punched him. But as you know, Cameron Grimes will not take that lightly, so he probably will attack him or set up a match. It's still unclear on that. I think it is. It's going to be next week. Don't remember, but remind me, leave a comment on that. Now we get to the most interesting match. We got Jordan Devlin versus Kushida. Now I have to say Kushida played it pretty well where he exploited Jordan Devlin's arm, tried to use it as a weakness, all of that. They're both good competitors, but however, here comes Legado, once again getting the face of Jordan Devlin. Try to get it into his head, try to take him out before getting to NXT TakeOver. But because of this, Jordan Devlin used Kushida to ensure he wins his match. Kushida was smart enough not to go after Jordan Devlin. He took it out on Joaquin Wilde and Raul Mendoza. But as you know, these two guys continue the breakery. Who is the best? How they're going to settle this. But all of a sudden, we got a very interesting surprise. Shawn Michaels show up. Now, I don't know what was happening when I saw this. But I have to say, some people say your silence speaks volume. Now, you guys try to ask me, what is that supposed to mean? You see, sometimes when you try to say something, if you stay quiet but you say it, it says it. Shawn Michaels had a very suggestive idea. He pulled out a ladder underneath the ring and slid it in between the feet of both Devlin and Escobar, telling them, put the titles on top of the ladder. Why not? As you all forgot, he was involved in that ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship years ago. That was the iconic match that he was ever been involved in. I mean, why not? And I have to say it was a pretty good damn idea. And I don't know if it's going to be better than them, but I have to say it was a damn good way how to express it. You know what I mean? I like how Shawn, he didn't have to say it. He just, say it by his silence. And I thought it was pretty good to watch. But, yeah. But that will be in Stand and Deliver, Takeover Stand and Deliver. Now, NXT ended where it was finally revealed what's going to be the consequences over the feud between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. It appears they're going to have an unsanctioned lights out match, and Regal made it perfectly clear. WWE will not be responsible for what happens to both of them. They are trying to say, you guys can kill each other as much as we want, but we're not responsible for you. But of course, Cole made it clear what he had in mind. He said that he used the Undisputed Era. He's not about friendship, he's getting what he wants. But Kyle O'Reilly had the same moment. But however, he did stated that he accepted his accountability for all the things that Undisputed Era did. Beating up people, like the 4-1 thing. And apparently, I have to say they both have some great talk on this one when they were speaking each other. Of course, I signed the contract, but we don't know what's going to happen. I'm like excited to see where we're going to go down. I think this is going to be a night 2 as well. I think this is like the main event or double main event, however it's going to be. I can't wait to see this. Now, you probably say, are they trying to copy AEW? I'm not sure. I know they have done at least 3 or 4. I'm not sure. But I think that's pretty much it with NXT. Let's jump into my final thoughts on both shows, which in my opinion was the better show. All right. So, what are my final thoughts on both shows? I have to say both shows were good, but to me, I don't know. I feel like none of them did have the edge that should have been exciting enough. Look, what things that were exciting from both sides, in my opinion. I have to say, let's look at the AEW side. I have to say, when the Bucks turned their backs on Kenny and the Lucha Brothers super kicked them, I thought that was like, whoa, that's insane. But also, I think the main event was good. Seeing Darby Allin put up a hell of a match against John Silver, but of course, you got the Dark Order keeping an eye out on Hardy and the rest of his company. And Sting showing up to back up Darby, and of course the melee, and I thought that was pretty good. But I feel like not a lot of excitement except for certain parts that kind of feels like it. And the same thing with NXT, how can I say? The thing with Shawn Michaels giving the silent suggestion, I thought that was pretty good, where he was just giving the suggestion that he needs. But I don't know. I feel like both of them did not give me the edge that it deserves. But if I have to I have to say, to me, in my personal opinion, that right now I'm an even tie with both. Now, some of you are saying, no, J Rod, you can't. You have to pick one. I agree with you, but I feel like I said, both shows were good, but none of them they have the edge that it needed in order for me to decide. Look what happened last week. The edge was AEW with the lights out match with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. That was exactly the edge I needed. But I feel like both shows were in the same predicament, but I'm sure that when the Wednesday Night War is over, that's going to change a lot. But that's how I feel. I don't know how you guys would feel about it. If you guys believe one show is better than the other, then tell me. Leave me a comment. I would like to hear it. Tell me that you guys see AEW and NXT, which is better for this past Wednesday, AEW or NXT. Tell me. I'm all ears. So, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. Even though I didn't have a whole lot of thoughts on this one, but I'll let you guys know. As you know, I will do the next episode will be the ROH, MLW, NXT UK 205 Live, and NJPW Strong. That's coming up. I got still more Japanese wrestling and other wrestling events that I'm planning to review. But for now, let's do this one right now, and then I'll do the next one. So I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang!